Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing the Transformers Armada minicons. Well, specifically the Star Saber and the Skyboom shield. And the minicon team for the Star Saber consists of Jetstorm, Runway, and Sonar. And as you can see, it says it includes a mini little comic book. They turn from vehicle to robot, and these combine to create a sword. And on the back of the packaging, you can see other minicon teams that there is available. Perceptor, one that I was not able to find, but would like to get someday. There is the Star Saber, and you can also put them on Megatron and all that good stuff. And that's about it for the Star Saber. And here we have the Skyboom Shield minicon team with Dirt Boss, Downshift, and Mirage. And that I do believe is the same minicon as, or very similar anyway, to Starscream Swindle, but I can't be for certain. And then on the back, here we have Mirage, Dirt Boss, and Downshift. They form the Skyboom, well, it just says Skyboom, but it's Skyboom Shield, and they can also go on to Cyclonus or any other Armada, or even Energon, maybe even Cybertron potentially, action figure. And that's about it for the packaging, so let's go ahead and get them out. And here we have both minicon teams in all of their Armada glory. But before we take a look at the figures, let's take a quick look at one of the miniature comic books. They both are the same, so I'm not going to bother showing both of them, but this side is a comic. Not going to show everything in detail, but, you know, Armada comic with Hotshot, Optimus, of course some Decepticons, minicons, you know, just the hijinks that they get up to, and that's about it for the comics. And there's some out I guess the comics that were going on maybe around at the time. But on the other side, Transformers Armada product catalog. This I'll take a little more time with, but here you can see the Star Saber team, the team that forms Perceptor that I so wanted. So bad. I think I don't know if I had I think the Energon one or a different colored one, but I would love to have that one at some point. Of course, the artillery assault team, I think, something like that. Then Hotshot, Jolt, Demolisher, Blackout, Cyclonus, Crumple Zone, and then Laserbeak, although they did change his colors because they were afraid that looked too much like a real gun, so yeah, they didn't want that, kids playing with that. Red Alert, Long Arm, Megatron, and Leader 1, Starscream, and Swindle. And yeah, Swindle is not the same as the other guy, although they are kind of similar. Actually, they are almost identical, if you take a look. Very similar, but not quite the same figure, but very similar. And, of course, Armada Optimus Prime. And a stand-in for me is Naval Commander, if you've seen that review. And that's it for the catalog. And here we have a Runway, Jetstorm, Sonar, Downshift, Dirt Boss, and Mirage. Okay, so here we have them in their vehicle modes, and you know that it's an older Transformer when they actually give the planes landing gear, which is really cool. Although it is clear plastic, that's the only thing that kind of gives me pause about these figures, but other than that, they seem pretty sturdy. So, of course, to transform into robot mode, you just want to flip that landing gear up. The coloration is pretty much all clear plastic, but there is some nice blue and white. But you just flip that back like that. And you just want to just unpeg his legs from there. Rotate them down. Extend and rotate forward. Same for the other side. Just rotate down. Pull down and rotate. And then his arms, they just flip up like that, and then you just rotate them down around. And of course, when it comes to clear plastic, especially if it's older, granted these probably weren't kept in the sun, so there's not as much likely for them to be brittle, but of course clear plastic has a tendency to be more breakable, so of course handle with care. And of course flip that up and around, and there you got Runway in his robot mode. And of course, these little guys sometimes have a lot of trouble standing up. As you can see, he's already starting to have problems. But of course, one thing you can do if you want to is prop the front of the plane down, and it's sort of like a stand, and it's hardly noticeable, and he's standing in robot mode. Alright, for Jetstorm, he's even simpler to transform. Just flip down his legs like so. flip up his head like that, rotate his arms down like that, and flip that around, and there we have him in his robot mode. This is not flip up, which is just as well because he also has trouble standing. And that's about it for Jetstorm. Here we have Sonar, probably my favorite of this trio. And I think he's supposed to be a little spaceship, and it's done in white. I think that's like the tiles of, heat-resistant tiles, like on a space shuttle. But you extend his legs, pull apart, flip out his feet, rotate, flip out, rotate, pull this back and around, rotating that, and that'll pull out his head, rotate down, flip his arm out, rotate down, flip his arm out, and then just rotate these up ever so slightly. And you can position them however you really want because, your toy, your figure, do it however you like. But I think he's kind of my favorite because he probably has the most articulation and has the most going on that actually looks pretty cool. And he also has the most detail on his face. He has red for the face, copper or brass for his chest. And that's about it for his coloration. Of course, there's a lot of white and clear plastic. Articulation, I would normally do the full range of articulation for most figures. But for minicons, articulation is not their strong suit. He does have some in the arms. His arms can move up and down. And then he does have side to side, but he does not have rotation right here. And especially considering it's clear plastic, I would highly not recommend ever even testing trying to move that forward or backwards. And as you can see there, it's just a hinge. You do not want to, try rotating that because you are going to break it more than likely, especially if you use excessive force. So that's pretty much it for their robot modes. Now let's start with the Skyboom shield team with Downshift. So to transform him, you just pull, and you want to be careful that you don't pull his legs off, but you pull these down, rotate, you can maybe push up a little bit if you want to give him a little bit more shoulders, then just pull this down, flip up his head, and pull apart his legs, just split his legs a little bit, and as you can see he has no articulation in the legs except for the fact that you split them. And just stand him up right there, like so. And here we are on Dirt Boss. He's a little more, there's a little more to him. Just pull, there we are, pull like this, pull it up just a little bit like that, just to break it loose. And then you flip out his ever so tiny feet. They're just like little wedges. Absolutely adorable, I guess, but very impractical for standing. And then you flip out his arms like so. Pull this down, and his fist, as you can see, is on the side, but you can't rotate that up, so it just has his forearms like this pretty much. Same side, or opposite side, pretty much the same thing, although this one does like to be tricky. There we are, because it's just really stiff. And then you get that out, and then you flip around his noggin like so. And as you can see, it is just pretty much an amorphous blocky blob with eye spots and like a face, but all yellow molded plastic, which when we combine, you'll see why that is, because, well, let's just say the paint would probably get worn off anyway if they would have tried doing that. So let's set him off to the side. And finally, we have Mirage. So he's pretty simple too. You just lift his arms out like this, bring them down ever so slightly. It looks like it's not on a real hinge. It's a really weird pivot thing, so I guess it's not meant to have a lot of rotation, so obviously don't force it because you won't want to break it. Just down like side. It's just to pretty much just give his arms a little bit of a bow. And then rotate around, flip up like that, and just split his legs. And there we have Mirage in his robot mode. And for his face, he just got some red splotched on there. Oh, and one little thing, just push down on the foil, whatever. I don't know. The name escapes me right now. Anyway, spoiler. There we go. Spoiler alert. Ha ha. Yeah. Anyway, the instructions have you going from vehicle mode to combine mode, so I'll be right back. And voila. Okay, so for Runway, you just put in his landing gear like that, and flip up like that. There we are. That's what you do again for sword configuration. Set him down. For him, even less, you just put up his landing gear and ready for sword configuration. And for him, just extend his legs. Don't worry, it's not broken. I've had one of these in the past, and that was a tendency that would happen, is that sometimes these pop off. But with it being clear plastic, I'm a little more anxious, as the other one did not have clear plastic. I think it was the Energon version. Anywho, that's it for sword. Set them off the side. Since we're doing both of these, may as well hold off on the hold suspense just a little bit longer. Just pull this out like so, and this little pegs in right there in that little hole. Just need to get lined up like so. Extend that fin or half of the spoiler. Rotate up. Peg in, flip up, and there we have Downshift for Skyboom shield. Dirt Boss, pretty simple, just pretty much split him in two like so. Flip out that fin, flip out the fin, and then flip his head around like so, because that will be the handle for the Skyboom shield. That is why there's probably no paint on there, because if there was, it would just get worn off, more than likely. So set that off to the side, and for him, well, he's already there. You don't do anything, so that's good. Pretty quick. Okay, for Skyboom shield, Star Saber, you want to just go ahead and plug these parts of his arms, or elbows, I guess where they're located, more like his elbows, into the engines on Jetstorm, like so. Just get it all nice and squozen, pegged in, all that goodness. And then you just plug this right into here, right below Sonar's crotch. Just like so. And wiggle, wiggle, wiggle if you need to. And here we have the Star Saber. From this angle, it actually looks pretty cool. Looks like a really chunky sword. But to be fair, when the Star Saber was first formed in the show, I do believe it looked like this. But then as soon as it ignited, it was a bit longer and looked more sword-like than three chunky minicons thrown together. But still looks really cool. And not so much from this angle and not so much from this angle, but it does from this angle. And that's all that really matters. So let's set that off to the side. So we're going to take Dirt Boss and Downshift and put them together. These right here, these two little clips, clip inside of here on his legs, which can be a little bit tricky. Just get them in there. Wow, cooperate on the first time this time. And that's about it for this top half, or top 2/3 of the shield. And then there's a little hole on the top of his head, and you just push them together like that, and here we have the Skyboom shield, which looks pretty cool, except, you can see his head. I guess that's the back of his head, but I mean, you can't really see that anyway. And then his head isn't even colored, so it's not like you're really going to notice that's not his head. So there we have the shield, and we have the sword. Now we just need someone to armor up with this. Hello. Yes. What do you mean can't do? What do you mean hands aren't strong enough? Well, I guess we can use someone as a stand-in. Okay, very well. Well, it appeared that Naval Commander, his hands, well, they can't do the job, so someone else is going to have to do it. So, as a guest wielder, we will have Galvatron who is from a previous review or one that's about to be released, whatever. Yes, previous review. Anyway, he has the right size hands and he can hold them. So let's go ahead and give him the Star Saber. I mean, Galvatron has been known to go to different universes or realities. I mean, Transformers hop realities all the time. So who's to say that he at some point wouldn't wield the Star Saber and Skyboom shield? So let's just go ahead and plug those in. There we are. And there he is with the Skyboom shield and Star Saber. And as you can see, they are kind of clunky. The Skyboom shield actually looks pretty cool. Doesn't exactly go with the G1 kind of color scheme, but it looks pretty cool regardless. As I mean, who can say that a giant sword and a giant shield does not look cool? And in the show, they're designed to be used together, but more often than not, they're not, and that just leads to problems. And Megatron usually ends up getting both of them anyway at some point, so doesn't really matter, I guess, if Galvatron wields. Besides, later on, it's Galvatron anyway. He gets recolored anyway to Galvatron, so let's just say it is Galvatron. Anyway, enough nonsense, enough blabbering. So yeah, that's about it for the Transformers Armada Skyboom Shield and Star Saber minicon teams. If you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.